For Island News Midday.
A high surf warning is taking place today for north and west facing shores of our islands. How this will impact the Billabong Pipe Masters competition. And meanwhile, lifeguards on the North Shore also on high alert today after a tiger shark was spotted aggressively chasing a turtle. What you need to know to stay safe. Plus, new concerns over popular volcanic tourist spots around the world, including Hawaii's own Kilauea. And we'll show you where those are straight ahead on KITV4. Mahalo for tuning into KITV4's Island News Midday on this Thursday, December 12th. I'm Lindsey Fukano. Well, the big story today is the high surf warning that's impacting most of our island chain. And today you could expect some big waves for north and west facing shores of Niihau, Kauai, Oahu, Molokai, and Maui. Now, the National Weather Service says that waves on the north facing shores, they could reach 35 feet. West facing shores are looking at surf up to 25 feet high. Sunset Beach had some pretty stormy conditions this morning. The waves washed up onto the sidewalk, pushing sand and water onto Kamehameha Highway. Over at Waimea Bay, surfers were out and the waves were big, but not enough for the eddy. Eddie Aikau's brother.
It looks like the best conditions in 30 years. Oh, yeah. Offshore wind, 15 to 18 feet. We got some 20-footers. Not big enough for the eddy, but hey, we're gonna catch a couple for eddy for sure.
Now, the holding period for the eddy runs through the end of February. The high surf warning for north and west facing shores is in effect until Friday morning at 6. Well, meanwhile, lifeguards on the North Shore are on high alert this morning after a 12-foot-long tiger shark was spotted aggressively chasing a turtle. And this happened about 25 feet from shore at Haleiwa Beach Park. And they will be monitoring the water today to see if it's safe. The high surf warning does continue as Tasia Worley has more. Tasia.
That's right. That high surf warning has been extended until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So a lot of this energy is going to continue. We're seeing 25 to 35 feet for the north facing shores, west 15 to 25. We had high tide earlier this morning that did cause some coastal impacts. Later on this afternoon around 4 o'clock again, we'll see high tide, low tide at the moment. We are starting to see that slow incline. East and south facing shores below 3 feet. Now, taking a look at high temperatures across the board, we can also see it's pretty sunny. Temperatures at 85 for Kaunakakai as well as Kahului. So if you are going to go to the beach, maybe east and south facing shores are best. Also, definitely want to head to the beach before all of this rain comes down. We are seeing from the northwest a cold front approaching for our Kauai County. That could be an increase of cloud coverage and heavy showers for Niihau and Kauai as early as this afternoon into tonight, and then widespread showers for your Aloha Friday throughout especially the western end of the state into Saturday. But the good news is breezy trade winds will also be returning. That's a look at your weather. Lindsay, to you.
All right, Tasia, thank you. We do have some breaking news out of central Oahu. Police activity has students on high alert in Waipahu. KITV4's TJ Horgan joins us live now outside of Waipahu High School with more on the tense situation. And TJ, I understand that another school was also put on lockdown.
Lindsay, I'm live here in front of Waipahu High School. It is confirmed by the Department of Education there was no active shooter. The school was shut down due to in an abundance of caution, due to a nearby police investigation. However, I spoke with multiple students here walking out of Waipahu High School. Each of them said to me there was an announcement made over the loudspeaker this morning. There was an active shooter. That's what the announcement said, according to multiple students here at Waipahu High School. Furthermore, they said it was 15 to 20 minutes until that announcement was corrected, and they were told that there was no active shooter. So a developing story here out of Waipahu High School, but we can confirm, per the Department of Education, there was no active shooter. The school was closed down due to a nearby police investigation. Lindsay, we're going to send it back to you. For now, live here at Waipahu High School, TJ Horgan, KITV4 Island News.
All right, TJ, thank you. A House committee enters day 2 of debate on the articles of impeachment against President Trump. And Democrats say the president violated his oath of office. Republicans say he has committed no crime. Karen Kafa is in Washington now with a look at the important vote ahead today.
The House Judiciary Committee moving towards sending articles of impeachment to the House floor.
I now call up H-Res 755 impeaching Donald John Trump, President of the United States, for high crimes and misdemeanors.
Republicans doing what they can to hit back at the process.
Facts be damned. They don't care.
The committee debating amendments to the 2 articles of impeachment introduced by Democrats alleging abuse of power and obstruction of Congress by the president related to his actions toward Ukraine. Republicans say it doesn't meet the threshold.
If that's the best you got, you wasted a whole lot of time and taxpayer dollars, all because so many of you, Mr. Chairman, hate this president.
Democrats say it is their obligation to act.
The president committed the highest crime against the Constitution by abusing his office, cheating in an election, inviting foreign interference.
A committee vote, the final step before consideration by the full House. Democrats confident they have the votes to impeach, even though some swing district Democrats have not publicly committed to voting for the articles.
I would predict that the articles of impeachment will pass on the floor. But here is what I do know. Our leadership isn't going to encourage anybody to vote one way or another. They believe that this is rightfully a matter of conscience.
That House floor vote is expected next week. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
2 Republican senators say the Senate could acquit President Donald Trump quickly if he is impeached. And they say that's because Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is expected to expedite that vote. If the House votes to impeach the president, the matter moves to the Senate for a trial. However, the senators say most of their colleagues feel the trial has already run its course. And the anonymous senators believe McConnell will skip a vote to proceed on impeachment and jump straight to a vote on the articles themselves. And that's because he may not have the 51 votes necessary to dismiss the case, but he likely has the votes needed to acquit. Convicting a sitting president requires 67 votes. Anything short of that results in acquittal. And meanwhile, President Trump is pledging to help expand child care. Today, the White House hosted a summit on options for working moms and dads. And this comes one day after the House passed a defense bill that included a provision giving all federal workers 12 weeks of paid parental leave.
We're here today to support the heroic calling for working moms and dads to really help them. We're going to help them. We're going to help them a lot. American families are the heart, soul, and backbone of our nation. Strong and loving families build up our neighborhoods, sustain our communities, invigorate our cities, pass down our values, and make a brighter future for every citizen.
Now, despite his pledge, a bipartisan deal on paid leave for all Americans has not been reached, and lawmakers are split on how to pay for it and how broad those policies would be. Well, after that deadly eruption in New Zealand, there are new concerns today about other popular volcanic tourist spots around the world, including Kilauea right here in Hawaii. Matt Gutman has more.
Volcanoes are a centerpiece of New Zealand tourism, this peak attracting more than 10,000 people each year. The stratovolcano even featured as Mount Doom in the Lord of the Rings movies. But predicting volcanic eruptions is nearly impossible. There are 1,500 potentially active volcanoes worldwide, some closer than you think.
There are 169 active volcanoes in the United States. Some of them are massive mountains that loom over cities, as Mount St. Helens does over Portland and Seattle. Others right under your feet.
And the majesty and spectacle of these natural phenomena seem to have spurred tourism. But with at least 18 dead or presumed dead on Monday's eruption on White Island, there is mounting concern about other volcanoes accessible to vacationers. Dr. Robin Andrews, a volcanologist and contributing writer for National Geographic, says most tourists don't realize the risks involved.
I kind of suspect that many people go to volcanoes and assume that even though they can be dangerous, they're not fully aware of the kind of dangers that they can present.
And the dangers are very real. We were in Hawaii during those jarring Kilauea volcano eruptions in 2018, facing fountains of lava and magma.
The heat rating off this fissure is incredible. That has been gushing lava into the air for 3 consecutive days.
Accompanying that molten lava, clouds of toxic fumes.
These plants haven't been burned. It is some of the fumes that have actually killed them over the past 10 days of continuous exposure to this hazardous gas.
And we saw the dangers of volcano tourism there as well. A so-called lava bomb from that eruption smashing through a sightseeing boat's roof, injuring 24 people. Dr. Ka-Ming Lee and his wife, Dawn, a former trauma nurse, were on that boat in Hawaii and jumped in to help the injured. But as that fateful trip in New Zealand reminds, those tours don't guarantee one's safety.
Just because a tour is offered, it doesn't necessarily guarantee your safety.
And life is beautiful. We can see the beauty all around us, but maybe we don't need to get that close to it.
The city of Honolulu just unveiled its newest initiative to tackle Oahu's homeless problem. 10 tents with space for 10 people in each of these tents will make up the homeless outreach and navigation for unsheltered persons, or honu. Now, there will also be Honolulu police officers and service providers on site 24/7 to help people.
Without the community support and without their willingness to help us understand this very difficult issue, there's no way that HPD could even understand the needs of the service providers, the needs of the people that are in crisis, as well as how do we best fairly enforce the laws for people that are experiencing homelessness.
We're just not moving homeless folks into tents like this and saying aloha and leaving neighbors to deal with the problem. The police will be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
In a few days, the tents will go up in the Waipahu Cultural Garden, and after 90 days, they'll move to the next undetermined location. Well, still to come on KITV4, we'll tell you what people have searched for the most on Google this year. And when it comes to stretching your dollar, the Aloha State is the worst for retirees. How long $100,000 will get you if you're not working? Coming up on KITV4.
This segment of KITV4 Island News
by Hamada Financial Group.
Welcome back. Hawaii is the worst state for retirees to stretch their money. $1/1000,000 here in the Aloha State will not last you for very long. A new analysis by financial website GoBankingRate.com found that Hawaii is the worst state for retirees looking to stretch $100,000, and that is unless it's a very short retirement. In Hawaii, $100,000 will only last a retiree about 1 year, 2 months, and 3 days, and this is according to that report. And the second most expensive place for retirees was California. And now the most searched for words and phrases on Google for this year: NFL bad boy Antonio Brown placed #1 on Google's most searched for people of 2019. And other top people searches: Jussie Smollett, R. Kelly, and Kevin Hart. The most searched news event was Hurricane Dorian. Overall, the most searched for term was Disney Plus. Well, today, stocks did jump after quickly opening in the red. This is when President Trump tweeted out that the U.S. is close to a big trade deal with China. And you can see right here from the Dow Jones Industrial Closing Board, the Dow did close up by over 220 points, up by 0.79%. All right, we'll go right back outside now with a live look at the windward side from our Windward Mall camera. Our Tasia Worley's back in now with a look at the forecast. Tasia.
We've got a lot of sunshine for our Oahu, but we do have a few showers for the 2 bookends of the state. We have a lot of moisture moving on in associated with that cold front to the northwest. Our winds today, light coming in from the east, about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow, nice and breezy. Also with that cold front, more moisture rolling on in for Kauai County all night, and most likely a bit heavier for tomorrow. Probably cloudy conditions just for the leeward and interior spots by this afternoon. There were reports as well over the north shore of just some sand and water on the roadway, so definitely just a heads up up if you're passing through Pupukea, Sunset Beach, in those areas. Kahului nice and clear later tonight with a few high clouds, so a beautiful sunset is expected. That's a look at your weather. Lindsay, to you.
Well, many of us are familiar with the current nutrition labels printed on food items or on menus, but not everyone knows how to decipher them. A new approach could help give you a better idea of counting calories in a way that computes. Mary Maloney has more.
KITV4 Island News Medical Minute, sponsored by Ekahi Wellness.
A small study could show some big promise when it comes to helping you cut calories. It all comes down to how food products are labeled. According to research published in the Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health, food labels that show how much activity is needed to burn off calories from what you're eating could lead to healthier choices than the normal nutrition labels. For example, physical activity calorie equivalent labels, commonly called PACE labels, would list on a bar of chocolate that it takes 23 minutes of running or 46 minutes of walking to burn off the candy's 230 calories. Researchers say this could help consumers cut an average of 200 calories per day from their diet. The group pulled data from 14 other studies that looked at the effectiveness of PACE labeling and calorie reduction. While the researchers cautioned that the studies were small and weren't carried out in real-life settings, they hold promise for reducing calorie consumption. The lead researcher says the goal is to have both sets on food products and menus, giving the public as much information as possible. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
Well, still to come, it's Siri to the rescue. How Apple's well-known robot voice helped to save the life of one Iowa man. That's coming up on KITV4. Stay with us.
KITV4 Island News Midday.
Welcome back. Technology came to the rescue for one Iowa man, and the case of two very different criminals is coming up right now. Jeremy Roth has more.
Cell phones are sometimes blamed for causing car accidents, but for one Iowa man, his cell phone saved him after one. Gael Salcedo was on his way to class when his Jeep hit a patch of ice, sending him careening into the Winnebago River. When he wasn't able to locate his phone, he simply called out to it.
Hey Siri, call 911.
I'm Siri, here to help.
The fire department quickly responded, and after a chilly walk through the freezing current, Salcedo made his way to safety. Wrong place, wrong time for this armed robber in Massachusetts. As the suspect was emptying the cash register, Lieutenant Dave Tempesta happened to be in the store on his daily visit. The winner of the Least Observant Criminal Ever award was too concerned with the money he was taking because the lieutenant was able to casually approach the counter and draw his gun. After a brief scuffle and with some help from other customers, Captain Oblivious was arrested. Maybe he should have taken tips from this next robber. A California man who often has packages stolen from his front door finally captured the thief red-handed? It seems this pint-sized porch pirate has a penchant for squirreling away packages. Luckily, they can usually be found in a nearby bush. No word on a motive for this rodent robber, but whatever the reason, it's probably nuts. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Stop stealing.
That's right. No. Well, good news for donut lovers, right?
That's right. Krispy Kreme is offering a sweet deal today, and yes, that includes us. Our Maui location is participating in the company's annual Day of Dozens, which means if you buy a dozen donuts, you get a dozen of the original glaze for only $1.
That's a good deal.
There we go.
There we go.
Holiday donuts are also available on their menu, so you can get the reindeer donut with pretzel antlers, the Santa Belly filled with chocolate cream, or the present donut, decorated glazed donut filled with the original cream. The Krispy Kreme in Kahului is open until 10 tonight. I think I can make a flight.
I think so. We'll go pick some up for $1. Okay, well, New Year's Eve is more than 2 weeks away, but New York is already getting ready. And the numbers that will light up the second that famous ball touches down is now in Times Square, as millions of people will watch the iconic ball drop in the Big Apple and on live TV. TV. It's the biggest New Year's Eve celebration in the nation, but it's not the only one. Here on Oahu, a 12-foot pineapple descends on the town of Mililani. In places like Raleigh, North Carolina, well, they drop an acorn, and in Key West, Florida, they kick back with a conch shell. Well, very good. Everyone has their own ways. We'll take a look outside now with the 8-day forecast.
Sunny conditions for your Oahu throughout Maui County. The two bookends of the state, we're starting to see some rain. A cold front approaching from the northwest could increase showers for Kauai County as early as tonight. The good news is breezy conditions making its way back for your Aloha Friday into the weekend, and that high surf warning for north and west facing shores have been extended until tomorrow morning.
All right, looking good outside. Thanks, Tasia, and thank you for watching. We'll see you right back here at 5 p.m. Have a great day.
Aloha.